force in Anambra State. We're talking about the third force in Anambra State. We have seen that INEC has released their list. We have over 36 parties participating in the elections. Can you see any group that can actually challenge this, the major political parties, which is the ABGA, the PDP, and the APC? Can you see any group among the parties that INEC released recently? Did you get my question?
No. Is that for me?
Yes, it's for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yes, steadfast. I think the words, I heard the word the first time in 2015 when some people who do not believe in APC and the PDP dominance in the national politics came together and decided to form alliance and have a different political bloc to use up power from the old guards. And coming to Anambra State, having a third force, we have different political parties who are, that are very strong. In Anambra State is multi-party state. It's the only state in Nigeria where should I say, regional party like APGA has held sway for years. And it has maintained that supreme dominance for years at in Anambra State. And we have very strong opposition parties like APC, like PDP, like Labour Party, like young YDP, right? We also have Accord Party. So all these parties are quite strong. Now, talking about third party, third force, in Anambra State, there should be actually fourth force, if I may, because there are so many political blocks. There are so many political blocks and heavyweights in Anambra State that have the resources, they have the manpower to create structure that can win an election. So it's not actually going to be a third force versus two-horse race. No, it is multi-party activity where a lot of political platforms or political parties will be jostling for the seat. So it's not going to be designed as it was in 2019 where only PDP and APC were jostling for one seat. So Anambra State is quite different. It's where you have a lot of people with money and every capacity you're looking for in the world, all the ability you're looking for, they all found here in Anambra State. So it's quite unique and different. So that's what I would say in that question.
Hello? Okay, after the EndSars movement, we saw youth clamoring for change. We saw youth coming together to say enough is enough. We saw youth participation in politics. Now, the third force we're talking about now is youth being a force to change the status quo. But like I said, the average youth, the average age for INEC among INEC youth was 50. We saw younger people, we saw 37, but the average age was 50. Now, is this a win for youth, or do you think that the status quo is still going to be maintained this forthcoming election?
I always tell the young people, no matter the age you are falling to, if you are still a young person, if you add 8 years or even 10 years to your year, if you top it 8 years, you'll find out that by the time the next regime will come and go, after they must have taken their 2 tenure, you'll be very old. And at that time, you may no longer be called a youth at that point. So what it simply means is that if you don't take very serious measure in determining who governs you, who becomes your leader from now, you are going to live with it to the next 8 years. Therefore, Teta movement was formed as a result of, after the EndSars protest, we came out and a lot of us met people with like minds, people who share the same value, people who are very passionate about the development of Alibo, people who are interested in making things work properly. And we were able to converge and started communicating, demanding accountability, demanding for progress and development. We have put in work, we have been galvanizing, we have been assembling young people from different local governments. It has also spread across other states. It's getting into Enugu, going into Imo State, Abia State, and Ebonyi State. So the idea is to have like minds with the same value that will position themselves as as leaders, today's leader, not even for tomorrow, because we've had enough of we are the leaders for tomorrow. So we are here to take what rightly belongs to us, that is leadership, by demonstrating that we are qualified, that we have what it takes to be part of that leadership process. And part of the things that we are, asking for in this coming election in Anambra State is to ensure that the youths are carried along. One of the problems we have in the political system is that the young people, because of the economic nature of the Nigeria, have been sidelined, to go into hustle. By the time they finish hustling, they will come back realizing that they've spent their entire youthful age when they should demand for the rights, process, the right things to be done in governance. They're already old, they are now thinking about their family. Now, the very few ones who usually come around are mostly used as thugs. These are the people that they use to cause chaos and trouble in the society. So the Teta movement is assembling the young, brilliant minds who understand the implication of our decision, our actions and our inactions, especially during the electoral process, where a lot of young people have decided not to vote because they believe that votes don't count. We are going to various communities, sensitizing young people on the need to vote. We have also established volunteers, among ourselves. A lot of our members are volunteering to register more young people. We are going to universities. We're going to, universities or higher institutions to preach to them on the need to get their PVC, on the need to be part of the political process that, that determines, who governs them and who, takes charge over them. So that is how we are intentional about coming into this system, because we can't continue to complain from the bystand waiting for the handouts or political handouts. No, we cannot continue to do that. So we are creating a movement sort of that can actually metamorphose into politics, metamorphose into political party in future maybe. But what we are looking at for now is to, to bring about change within our community. The little effort we can actually put in to be able to do that, and that is actually what we are doing in Teta right now. Thank you so much.
Okay, remember that you can make your comments, make your contribution by raising up your hand, and you would be allowed to be part of the program. Now, Uche, you spoke a lot about what Teta is doing, but we are asking, are there any strategic moves for the youth to actually influence this current election? Because what you're saying now, it sounds long term. It sounds like something that may happen come 2023 or 2025. It does not sound like something that's going to happen anytime soon. Do you think that there will be a thought force or a force that can actually challenge what Anambra State 2021 election? That's the question we're asking.
The last time we had election in Anambra State, I don't think the winner got up to 300,000 votes. And what that simply means, if you check the population of the young people in Anambra State, we constitute over 60%. And if 70% of Anambra youth actively vote in any election, they are capable of determining who governs or who becomes the governor.
Now, are there practical steps, Mr. Uche, sorry, are there practical steps to make sure this amount of people actually turn up to vote? Because Anambra is suffering from serious political apathy, you would agree with me. Are there practical steps to make these people vote?
Like I said in my earlier submission, in Teta, we are actually carrying out sensitization program. We go to schools, we go to universities, high institutions to preach the gospel. It has not been easy because of logistics and other resources that we are finding difficult to put together. But these are the practical steps. Let me give you an example. Osun State registered over 230,000 people within a short period of time, within the window the INEC gave out. And what that means is that that number of votes, number of registered votes can actually win an election in any southeastern state. And the Southeast has been lagging behind the aside Anambra state, which we have been very instrumental in making, in adding to the number. We registered over 40,000. Osun State has over 250, 30 something thousand. Ebonyi State has just 1,056. Enugu State is struggling with the 3,000. Then Imo State has just 15. Abia, I think 3 or 4. So you see, then when you go to Southwest, there is no state in Southwest that has less than 11,000. Lagos has over 60,000. Oyo State has over 50,000. Ekiti State has over 15,000. So they are making progress, but we are not. And if you check, every time we go out to register or call out for people to come and register, the people who usually turn up are not the young people, right? So it is actually a problem that we have acknowledged on, in Teta, and that's why we are going to university or high institutions to preach the gospel. I was in Unizik the other day to talk to young people about registration of and getting and being part of the electoral process. And they were arguing. I noticed that 80% of students in university, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, most of the classes I went to, have not gotten their PVC. They don't even have their PVC. So most of them are not interested. They are disenchanted. They are not really, they don't really understand. The little or few of them that actually are interested will argue, put up a lot of argument like our votes don't count, this is Nigeria, all sort of propaganda they have been fed with. So there is need for us to go to the field to decongest that level of segmented ignorance among our young people who have been feeding on lies on votes don't count. I was engaging with one guy that insisted that vote doesn't count. And I told him that if vote doesn't count, that politicians would not spend billions of naira in conducting election or in trying to win an election. They wouldn't be engaging in so many things on printable things in order to win an election. So there is need for a lot of stakeholders to be involved to change the orientation of the young people who have given up in Nigeria, rightfully so, I may put, but I want to buy an asset that the so not because you are not you're not being recognized or something wrong has happened in the past, then you will not give up totally. So it's a very wrong cause that our people, especially the young people, have taken, and we in Teta are trying to correct that. Before the election in November 6th, we are going to a large extent, convince some young people to get their PVC and of course, get to vote in the election. And of course, we also hold accountable anybody that we are going to be voting for, or anybody that we are going to be aligning with, or anybody that we are going to be supporting. Because the essence is to ensure that the young people are carried along and involved actively in the politics. So that is our aim.
Okay, now you'd agree with me that the major political parties after PDP and APC have a higher chance of winning this election. Don't you think that it would have been a strategic move for the other smaller political parties to have come together and just selected one candidate? Don't you think that would have actually given them a better chance of winning the election than this we have over 36 parties, right?
I don't belong to any political party, right? But I want to tell you something. There is no political party that has an ideology in Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge. And even though
platform, your screen is present. If you have a video.
Yeah. So even though I may say I may have preference to one or two, but there's something that is consistent. If you have someone who is visionary, if you elect someone who is visionary, who has a goal, who is ready to serve the people, irrespective of the political party, he or she will perform well. And what we are saying is that beyond the rhetorics of the political arguments, belonging to one political party or the other, the bias of political parties, beyond that, you may not necessarily find it easy to see different political parties reach consensus. Let me give you an example, the third force. The obvious question we all know, and Ferraduro Toye and Kinsley Moghalu came together and formed a coalition. What happened? It failed, right? So it's not actually easy to have two strong candidates agreeing or ceding the candidacy to a single person. You know, it's not actually that simple. If you look at what we have in Anambra State, we have people with the kind of resources, even the qualification to govern. They all believe that they are the best. So it is democratic enough to allow everyone to participate, you know, and if you're going to have a situation whereby you say, let other political parties form alliance and try to conquer the established parties, then that means you are biased against the established party. So I wouldn't say that they should come and conquer the established parties. I should say instead, they should come and test their popularity. And of course, you don't just come and test your popularity based on the things you say. For example, I expect political parties or political stakeholders to actively involve in getting people registered. We are not seeing them on the field, but we are the one doing that. We go to this field, we tell people, come and register. We provide all these resources with our money. Nobody gave us money anywhere. We provide these resources by ourselves. We tax ourselves, contribute money for data, for logistics and the laptops and the printers and everything that we are using. We provide all these things and we don't even have enough. So if, for example, I'm contesting, I'm interested in winning an election in Anambra State, where I know the young people constitute large majority, I would deploy resources in getting people registered, get the data. I think I'm revealing too much, but this is something that I believe they could have done. But you find out that these people are quite lazy. Most of these political parties, they are banking on, you know, giving the electorates money, bribing them with money to get votes. And that has become our culture, right? You know, in the political process. So it is something that we can actually talk about, maybe bring out time to talk about the political culture, the process by which we elect our leaders. It is very problematic. So I wouldn't say that the different political parties should come form alliance to usurp or take over the leadership from the current existing APGA, APC, and PDP. I wouldn't subscribe to that because they are all strong in their own way. So they should be allowed to contest and express themselves and test their popularity. Thank you.
Okay, remember that you can join the conversation by simply raising up your hand, and I'll call you, and you will be able to contribute your quota to the topic, which is Anambra 2021. The emergence of the thought, but I say that it should have a better chance of contesting against parties that have been established for years. That's what I was saying. I was not implying that it should stop power from the existing political parties. So just to correct that impression. Now, moving on, you were talking about unity and you were saying that they should come and test their popularity, but this obviously we have not seen a united front for youth yet, which is why we are talking about the third force in Anambra. We have not seen a united force for youth. We are seeing a lot of organizations that will just have 20 members, and the next thing we see, they are having courtesy visits here and there, and they are presenting some gifts to some aspirants and candidates currently. And is this the way the youth wants to go? Because it's the same thing we've been seeing over the years. There is nothing new we are seeing right now. We are not seeing anything new. So if the youth keep going like this, don't you think we'll just keep researching?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Let me. If the last thing I heard, you talked about we have not really seen any meaningful change and any meaningful contribution or on the youth have always been disappointed. That's the feeler out there.
No, that's not what I am asking you. I am saying, Mr. Okoye, I'm sorry. I said that the youth, we've not seen a united front for youth. We have seen various organizations. We have seen Anambra Youth Movement. We have seen even your Teta movement. We have seen a lot, about 20 youth groups currently operating in Anambra State. And most of the time, what one candidate, is it be identified as a source post, or is just another youth organization?
Okay, let me speak for mine. I don't, yes, I'm aware that there are a lot of other political youth movements out there. That then our own, the Teta movement, was bettered as a result of, it was a circumstantial movement. It wasn't something that just came from the blue. Like I told you, during the EndSars protest, we converged, we met each other, we listened to one another, we discussed and found out something quite intriguing, and that is the mindset. Now, the Teta movement, what is it all about? What have we been doing beyond the voter registration that we've been involved in? We are also involved in other social political activities. We're involved in ICT training. We train young people. We organize ICT training for young people. We also acknowledge the fact that a lot of our young people have really lost the opportunity or do not have the kind of opportunity that they deserve. And there are, within the young people, again, there are people who have age, the upper hand, and we converge them together. We bring all of us together to see how we can help one another, to lift one another up. Because when you economically lift, the young people, you are going to be reducing the level of political inducement. Because what the politicians have done, what we've realized, is that the politicians have weaponized poverty, and that has been the weak point. And for us to effect the kind of change we would want to see, we will first off economically elevate certain young people, or a large number of young people. So we embarked on ICT training. We embarked on ICT training. We've done a couple of them in the States. We organize ICT. We're also partnering with other stakeholders in doing stuff like this. And the idea is not necessarily to be part of the political, entirely to be part of the political leadership. It is part of it. But the whole idea is to help one another first, to get certain level of benefits. Like today, information technology is in vogue. I am into information technology. And I know there are so many soft skills that young people can actually acquire without going into fraud. There are a lot of them out there, and there are very few of them, or few of us, who have the knowledge. If we can organize it and bring more young people to come and learn from what we know on how to make a living off ICT, it will go a long way in reducing crime. It will go a long way in impacting in many of their lives. And when you do this, there's going to be a change in the mindset, especially when people see election as a process of enriching themselves. So the problem, when you identify a problem, you begin to find the root cause of the problem, then that is how you provide solutions. So we have identified that one of the ways that we can actually get our people to be involved actively in politics and stand by on their foot and say enough is enough, is to get them economically empowered. Because oftentimes when you speak to them, they are looking for money. But when you empower somebody intellectually, or knowledge-based economy that we all are parroting now, if you empower one or two persons and you go and preach to them about the need to vote, they will not be looking for you to give them money, because they're already making that money themselves. So these are the things that we're looking at, right? So under Teta, we are not just talking about politics. We are also unapologetic, because we are not aligned to any political party. So we are going to criticize any government. We criticize objectively. We hold government accountable. We follow projects. We make updates. We do a whole lot of things without minding whose ox is God, because we are not affiliated to any political party. What we are interested in is seeing the real development, right? So that's why I think we are different. We are not just here to participate in election and go. No, we are here to bring about the little change we can in our respective communities. And that's why a lot of people are joining us. It's not like every other movement that that you have seen or experienced in the past. No, this is different.
Can you give us some examples of the change that you have been clamoring for? I mean, the things that Teta have been doing that have actually resulted in change? Can you give us examples of
Yes.
that?
Okay. Like I told you, first, we have embarked on, first off, we started by consulting, meeting the stakeholders, talking to them about certain things that we need to start seeing. For example, we spoke to certain individuals in the state about the need to have soft skills, young people to possess soft skills. Knowledge, but we explain to them the reason why so many young people are into crime, or so many young people are doing a whole lot of things, just to make a living. It's because there is no, the economy is bad. There are very little they can actually do to support the system. For example, if they provide a place for ICT where they can come and train the young people, they can sponsor event like, event where ICT can take place or training on ICT can take place, bring young people for free to come and gain, knowledge on how to do certain things. There are a lot of things on digital space right now. We have helped in supporting, I may not want to mention the name, projects that has been going on in the States, private project anyway. We have helped in supporting that a project that has been going on that is encouraging young people, that is also supporting young people who have been actively involved in that. We have also have a platform or a situation where we encourage investments to come down to East. We have attracted so many of them, we have attracted so many investment down East where we talk to them about the need to invest in agriculture, especially in modern agriculture means, in modern technology in agriculture. We have done that. We have also embarked on reorientation, which is very important because the mindset is actually something that we are targeting. A whole lot of our people have a very disturbing mindset about politics, and that's in effect. That's why we are taking it upon ourselves to speak to them, have the argument, bring your superior argument. We've been going to radio stations, speaking to our people, going to radio stations, sensitizing our people. So it is it encompasses a whole lot of things. And we are also ambassadors of this movement because anywhere we find ourselves, irrespective of political affiliation, so many of us belong to many, may belong to many, any political, or have sympathy for any political party. But the driving force is the need for us to make things work. And that is the passion we have beneath what we are doing. So it is not, like I mentioned, we just started last year. In fact, I should say this year, and we have done a whole lot of work. We've gone to different parts of Anambra states, especially places where we have issue on security or anything. We go there, get the right information, and of course, carry out the right, use the right approach to mitigate whatever situation. Especially what happened in the Anambra state, we partnered with in what's it called, Opiweka. We partnered with some groups to sensitize the people on the need to be vigilant, to be security conscious on so many things we've done in the states in this within a short period of time. So it is something that we are just starting. We even think we are just starting, but we've done so much, and that is the direction we hope we are going to continue to to follow. We are not here for any political party to use us for anything. No, we are here to make our impact felt by the people.
Okay, we can see from I can see from the participants list, OC and Ukafo. OC and Ukafo, if you're here, what is the discussion? OC and Ukafo, if you're here, please unmute yourself and start the video. We're trying to add into the conversation. Okay, so let me look for him. Ocean Okafo. Okay, maybe he will join us later. I see him here and I wanted him to join the conversation. Mr. Uche, we're not done with you. I don't know why you just left immediately. Mr. Uche, kindly unmute your mic.
Okay, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay, so sorry, we had the network issue when you were talking, and you were cut off at some point. But I understand that you said that you're trying to empower the people so that they will not be swayed by material goods and so much infrastructure when it's time for elections, right? That's what you said. And
Yes,
you also talked
yes.
about, okay, sorry, OCN Okafo, please. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening. So you have a similar movement to the Teta movement. We are talking about the third force in the upcoming Anambra State 2021 elections. Do you have anything to add to the conversation? Did you get me?
Cool. Uche,
Would you
I
like
know
me
you guys
to?
have gone this far. Um,
Okay.
I think we are having network issue with. I think he's having
Okafo.
a very bad network. Maybe he
Yes.
will join us later.
Yes. Okay. So one of the problems we're having, especially in Nigeria here, network problems. So like I was saying, you also talked about how Teta movement is trying to curb the political apathy in Nigeria. But what do you think about the political orientation of our people? I mean, this is a major problem that has been affecting the practice of politics in Anambra State. What are your thoughts on this?
The political what? Did I get that? The political.
The political orientation of our people.
Yes.
How
Like I
are you
told you,
trying to checkmate this?
yes. It is it is very pervasive. Like I always say, when I see a problem, I don't just jump on it. I first try to understand why that problem exists in the first place. And if you understand why the problem exists, it will help you to solve the problem. It will help you to a large extent to try to attempt solving the problem, even though you may not eventually solve a problem. There is a reason why the political orientation in Southeast is the way it is, and it stems from history. And people, there is this tendency for people to inherit what their father or their mother, the way they approach things. There is a high tendency. If, for example, in a family where the parents were never interested in politics due to effects, certain impact, maybe let me just say the war and post-war and a whole lot of things that happened, there is high tendency for people to toe that same line. And remember, the current sentiment that is quite popular in the Southeast among the young people, and you agree with me that IPOB has contributed to a large extent with the kind of orientation our people have towards politics. That does not mean that they are entirely bad in their orientation, but the idea is to have superior arguments. There will always be divergent opinion on issues, and that's what makes out Igbo. We all have we have the tendency to disagree with one another. We have the tendency. It is in our culture. It is in our culture to disagree, but you have to disagree in order to agree at some point. And you can only agree on a superior point of view. And that is the essence of democracy. So when you have a people who have already taken a path in their life, the only thing you can do is to come at them with a preponderance argument in order to decongest that ignorance that is already there, or their own perspective that you feel that is not better or not good enough. So, and that's why we're embarking on the reorientation. We are engaging them peacefully. We meet them in the streets, we meet them everywhere. We talk about it passionately. And I'm always open for this conversation.
Okay.
I tell them, look, we can have this conversation, but we need to understand one another. And we need to have where we are going to at the end of the day, because it's not just about making your opinion heard. It's not just about saying what you have in mind. It's about, at the end of the day, what are you agreeing upon? And that is what matters. So at every point in time, I always make it a point of duty that each and every time I have agreements with them, it must come to a a rallying point where you will agree and I will agree. So we are going on the streets, trying to win the arguments. The popular argument that the vote doesn't count, there's no need to vote, that they've decided they are that will govern, all manner of things they say. And if we succeed in getting to a large extent, maybe 10% of the population that don't vote at all, doesn't vote at all, we have achieved so much. So that is the idea. That is the idea. Thank you.
And I'm seeing a hand. And Manzi HTM Okoye, please, the floor is yours for now.
Thank you, Neka. Uche, thank you very much. It has been quite encouraging listening to you, because we don't see so many young people like yourself, especially in the East, in the Southeast, taking interest in what actually affects them. You are one of a kind, and I wanted to encourage you in what you're doing. You are doing a very great work, invaluable work, that not so many people will appreciate. However, my question is, what are your organization's main objective? What is your objectives? What are your future sort of long-term objective and short-term objective? I don't know if you understand my question. Hello, Uche.
Okay, Mr.
Yeah,
Uche.
yes, I do understand, but I want to share something. But go ahead, Neka.
Okay, while you're waiting for you, let's see if we can go back to Mr. Okafor. Mr. Okafor, is your next objector now? Okay, we are still waiting for Mr. Okafor. Austin, Mr. Austin, please go ahead. The floor is yours. While we are waiting for Mr. Uche and Mr. Okafor, let's hear from Austin. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Yeah. My question to, I've listened to Uche. Very good presentation, but my question is, I am from the North, just to make it straight. What has Uche's organization done when the Southeast governor came together and prescribed IPOP? And how does his organization intend to engage the political leaders of the Southeast in reference to the activities of IPOP? Because obviously we will all agree that the reason why IPOP is up and about today is because people have been pushed to the world. They are so angry, okay? And unfortunately, sometimes I get really disappointed that the federal government didn't prescribe IPOP as a terrorist organization. The Southeast governors came together and did that. Okay, so what has Uche's organization done to engage the political leaders in order to make IPOP and their loyalists feel, give them a sense of confidence and a kind of reassurance that whatever we do, we are doing it for you? Because you can't really get these guys to align with you, to believe you, and to trust you, if you don't give them some sort of reassurance. So
okay,
what
thank you, Mr.
organization?
Austin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Please, if you have made your contribution, kindly lower your hand so that I would know.
So, okay, I think Tango Ugochukwu wants to ask question, so we can allow him to ask. So that
Mr. kindly react to the two questions you have now, so we can move on, because
okay. The first question is The first question, that is the objectives, the primary objective. And now I want to say that when we met, we have always had our individuals' ideas, in our respective zones. Because we are quite individualistic, and we never had a platform or a place where we could converge and synergize our ideas. It was when we met and started talking, and we agreed that one of the problems we have in leadership structure in our Igbo is the fact that our selection, the selection or election of leadership in Igbo land is very problematic. I give you an example. Someone who never had experience or lived in the Southeast or had a lived experience of being a Southeasterner, or someone who is not in a system would just come because he has made money and he becomes your governor or becomes your senator. And that is the only qualification. He has made money, he's a successful person, he has done this, he has done that. There is no trajectory in that leadership. You cannot even trace that leadership to maybe to 5 years. What has he done in 5 years ago? What was his impact in his local or community where he lives? To be able to understand the plight of the people, where their pulse lies. If you live with the people, I'm not saying that exclusively people should actually must live here before they know. The point is, the selection so far I have seen, especially in Anambra State, has always been go and make money, come back and throw money around, you become our leader. And that's how people become leaders. Now, it's something that we found very problematic. And we are saying that if we find a structure that can groom young people with the right orientation, that is founded on community leadership or service to humanity, like what we are doing, is a service to humanity. And if you inculcate that in you, it is very prominent in America, in UK. You see people, carry out community services, and it has been lacking down south or southeast. So if we have people who have been growing from, there is someone called Junior Ezono. He is currently the counselor in Texas. I can't remember the city in Texas. He's from Nobi here. He's 22-year-old. He left Nigeria at the age of 2. He was born in Onitsha. And when he was interviewed, he said he started community service, when he was even 19. And that was how he became interested. And look at where he is today. He is a counselor in that city in Texas. And tomorrow, he will move from there to maybe the upper one, maybe mayor, from mayor maybe to the governor. And that is the trajectory that when you look at most leaders in the developed world, they always come from a place. But in the Southeast, is different. So we are seeing that. So that is our projection, that we are looking at raising the young people who are very passionate about serving their land, who are very passionate about their people, and of course, empowering the people collectively, because we have a global village where knowledge-based economy is the thriving force.
Mr. Uche.
Okay, let me answer the second question, and so that we can go to whatever. The second question is, what have we done? The simple answer is that we just started last year. So we are not there when they prescribed IPOB. I think that answers that.
So if I understand,
can you react to it?
Your objective is community service.
Yes, towards enthronement of good leadership. Community service.
I think we lost Mr. Uche.
Yes, community service towards enthronement of good leadership.
Good leadership. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Community service.
Hello, Tango Ugochukwu. You are raising your hand. You may go on with your question.
I was waiting for the movement for them to call me.
I think she's having a network issue.
Question I have for you, I know what you are doing, but I know there is many obstacles and odds.
Please, I can barely hear you.
Are you hearing me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
What you are doing. But Teta is talking. What are you saying?
Okay, Elder Tango, please just excuse me for a second. I was asking Mr. Uche to react to the second comment talking about Southeast leaders prescribing IPOB.
Okay, I just gave that answer. Maybe you didn't hear what I said. I said that we just formed the Teta movement just this year, right? And yes, we are not happy with the decision by the Southeast governor. We have expressed it over. In fact, there was a time we released a press conference through our Nezandibo Youth saying that the South, or we not through Ohanes and Igbo Youth, I beg your pardon, it is through a platform that we also partner with. We asked them to reverse that decision. You don't kill a fly with a sledge of hammer. And I felt that that decision was hurriedly done and it wasn't really thought out well, because there could have been a lot of negotiations that could have taken place before getting to that conclusion. And the impact is quite severe, especially on our people, especially the young people who are being extrajudiciously killed on a daily basis because they are already proscribed. Can you hear me? Am I still on?
Yes,
am I still on?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
That people who are unjustly, extrajudiciously killed on a daily basis. And we feel that the reason why this is happening is because they were enabled by that pronouncement. And if that is reversed, it will no longer be a crime to identify with any group. And that decision is something that we feel that was really not thought out well. So we are still holding on to that, but we will get to that level where we will have robust conversation on that to, in order to agree to a place, because we cannot continue the way we are currently going. There is need for us to have very robust conversation on this. So that's my standpoint. That's what I believe. And of course, I'm to a large extent a member of Teta movements.
Okay, so let's hear from Elder Tango. Elder Tango, the floor is yours, but you would have to hurry up because our time is fast spent.
I'm talking Mr. Uche, which I you remember that at the time, but now individual this party as a business. Most of the parties have godfathers, people that control them. But who are the youth now and who are the others? How can we or identify elders as youth for what is going on? And my another question for you is, are you this your movement? I know nothing goes for us. This money to move. So are you the one bankrolling this your movement or any interest?
I really struggle to hear the first thing he said. I would like him to repeat the first one, but I heard the last one.
The first one I said is that there was a time government-sponsored party. Yeah? But now, to my knowledge, I know that government is not taking any party anymore. The party sponsored themselves. And when this money is involved, people bring this money either through Godfather or through anybody. So, and when somebody puts money in a place, I mean the money. Your movement is not what you are doing is not, it's okay, I love it. I'm not against your movement, but I want to know, you bankroll yourself or someone bankroll you, a group is bankrolling you, or how do you raise the fund for your movement?
Okay, there's something I said earlier. I said most of us who just like the way we bankrolled our EndSars protest, and we dipped hands in our pockets. We are doing not so, we are not too buoyant, but we are doing well compared to so many young people. To a large extent, for example, I donated my laptop, my printer, and a lot of people did that too. So there are other young people who are, not around, who are saying, okay, look, what you guys are doing are great, because we do updates. They'll say, okay, take this, take that. There are a couple of donations here and there, but to a large extent, we have been the one, dipping hands in our pockets. But we are not seeing it. We are not seeing it as something that will continue to be that way. We have a strong feeling that one of the things that we are doing, we're trying to embark upon, is going to yield fruit that we'll use to continue. We do a lot of things together, and help one another in our circle, in our movement. We help one another to organize events, organize things that also raise funds. So we are not hoping to get approval or sponsorship or bankrolling from any political member or political juggernaut. We are not interested, because we know the implication. We understand the implication. So we are not going to be towing that line. And but what we are saying, what we are going to be doing is to tax ourselves. We will tax ourselves. There are a lot of young people who are also passionate. They may not actually be around, but they just want to put their token to be, to register their token. A lot of people are indicating interest. We really want to see the change we want to be part of. We want to be part of that change. We want to be the one. We want to participate in it. It's not just by talking or making us on social media. We want to take it to the grassroots. We want to be involved, and that is the only way we understand the change can actually come to us as young people. So if we continue to wait and hope that miracle will one day come by, we'll wait forever. And the next 8 years, we will become very old, but now we're still very, some of us are still in their 20s, early 30s and so on. So we are still energetic and vibrant enough to do the needful. So we can go all out. We can go all out. And we are not hoping because we are not looking towards that angle. We are not hoping that any political party or politician will bankroll us. So that is not even in our agenda, because what we have is strictly one of our objectives, and our goal is very strictly against incompetence and bad governance. So most people who are interested in bankrolling are actually arbiters of bad governance. So we are not interested in their Greek gifts.
So let's hear from Elombah television. The floor is yours. And after that, we would have to close, because we have spoken past the hour 8, which is supposed to be when. So Elombah television, let's hear from you.
Mazi Uche, thank you very much. My question will be, you are a member of the EndSars panel in Anambra State. And one of the questions people asked when we circulated this, when we advertised this program is, what has become of that panel? I know it's not part of the program tonight, but what has happened to the panel? Is it still sitting? Has they concluded sitting? Has they made any recommendations, and any policeman been convicted? Has any victim been rewarded? People will want to know. And my second question will be, seeing that Anambra State election is now in a state of stalemate, people are wondering, have your organization made any impact? And are you looking to partner with other organizations in Anambra State and around the country to increase the scope of your activity? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dalwan. All right, I want to state clearly, I particularly was very instrumental to the EndSars, but in the panel, when they were adding their names, my name was somehow excluded. But I was also very involved actively in the panel, in every day-to-day activities during that period. But something happened. Maybe it skipped your timeline, and that is the fact that we resigned from that panel. But before then, I want to say that Anambra State is the highest. We received the highest number of complaints, people that registered their complaint. We carried out that sensitization. We spread across the the states, asking people to bring their complaints, and we're able to gather enough complaints. But during the sitting process, we started seeing things that we were not comfortable with. The way and manner they were dishing out their sittings and everything was so bad. And we decided to issue a press conference declaring that we are resigning from the sitting. And we did that with immediate effects and had our integrity intact. We didn't want to soil our hands because of things we were seeing, and we left the panel. And so far, I can tell you, I barely know much. A lot of people have different opinion on that, but we needed to protect our integrity at that time. And we felt that that was the best option, for us in our own interpretation. We resigned. Now, in your second question, yes, we are very open, and we are already in touch with other partners that we've spoken on different platforms. I spoke to someone from the US, who is compiling the activities of young people in Africa. And of course, the idea of globalizing the cause is something that everyone in Teta will appreciate. And we also want to make it something that everyone will be proudly to associated with. It is already in Imo State, it's already in Abia State, it's already in Enugu State, because they see the impact of Teta, the little I say we are doing in Anambra State. So everybody who are actually passionate, is interested in joining. So yes, we are interested in, we are open to partnerships. We are open. We are interested in having that and also making it count. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, I think that's the last of our questions for today. I don't think anybody is raising up their hand again. Elombah Television, if you do not have any questions, kindly lower your hand so that I'll be sure there are no more contributions. Okay, and that brings us to the end of today's exclusive interview. We have been talking to the convener of the Teta movement. He was also a member of the Anambra State EndSars panel, and he's popularly known as Anambra Person. He's one of the influencers.
Thank you.
Uche Okoye. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
And
I'm very glad to meet Okoye Okafor. Okoye Okafor is no longer here. Okay,
yes,
he has
very
left.
unfortunately, we lost him.
Yes.
We want
and everyone. I'm very glad to meet everyone.
Yeah. So if you're looking for Mr. Uche Okoye, you can just go to Twitter and look for Anambra Person, and you'll find him. And I'm sure he'll be glad to meet up and exchange ideas, especially about the Teta movement. And special thanks to the people that contributed to today's exclusive interview. It was interactive, it was informative, and of course, it was a discussion to bring about solutions. Remember to follow Elombah Television on Facebook, Twitter, and follow me also Augusta Neka on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a good night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Neka. Your program is over. I have my friends here who may like to have a few discussions with me. We'll stop streaming online and stop recording. It's part of our culture to listen to our viewers. If there is any important topic we may discuss tonight, we are welcome to that. But apart from that, our guests, thank you very much. You are free to leave. We stop recording and we stop online stream. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
Come on. Njenje Media, do you have any news for us? Chibi, Ebuka, any news for us tonight? Elder Tango. Any feedback?
Feedback I have is when you are seeing people, they are intelligent. They didn't cancel the court, they put the court, but it's indirectly canceled. What's their take on this? They know they won't bring him to court.
Sorry, are you talking about Nnamdi Kanu?
I know you say any news. I give you the news I have.
Yeah. I'm asking, what are you talking about? I say yes. Do you
About
have
the court,
any?
yes, about the court that Nnamdi Kanu went.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
About the court issue. The authority or the people in power know that court is going, and they give a court date.
Yes.
Court date. So now, systematically, the court didn't hold because there was already rumor that this the case had been cancelled, that everybody's on the news, but the problem with the case. Getting to the court, now the case is not there. The funny excuse was the logistics. The country like Nigeria. So can we sit here and analyze what is the logistics in a friendly manner?
Well, I think our Nigeria, our country, get as it be. It is. I think it's a shameful thing that you will take someone to court, and on the day of hearing, you are asked to produce the person, and the accused was not present. And the funny thing is that they didn't even give any reasonable point why they failed to bring in Nnamdi Kanu to court on that day. I was asking Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, and he told me, what is their reason for not bringing Nnamdi Kanu to court? And they said, well, they just didn't decide to bring him because it is at their discretion. That's what he told me. The DSS guys, the lawyer said, the DSS guy told the court that it is at their discretion to bring Nnamdi Kanu to court or not. And of course, the judge disagreed with them. The judge said, no, it is not at your discretion. I cannot go on with this hearing if the accused is not here present. And so simply they decided to, the judge now adjourned the hearing. I think it's a very, very
That's very funny.
Excuse me, Elombah. There's a word now, the particular word I'm trying to put on. What they said is because it's due to logistics. That's logistics. Generalize to Nigeria in case of less time. If they say the money, they cannot bring in anything, but if they came to court, what we hear all over the world that it was because of logistics. So that logistics still have been fighting.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry, forgive me.
If you ask my question, you would have to what